Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia here, and welcome back to Overwatch. This is slightly different. I'm not talking while I'm playing, I'm more talking over some play. Because in the background I've got some competitive play from last night, as I am recording this, of me playing as the new D.Va for the first time in comp. And I wanted to cover some of my thoughts on the new D.Va in comp for the first time, because obviously on the PTR where I've played a lot of my new D.Va anyway, there's no comp. You can't really get an accurate picture of a character on the PTR because the PTR has such a small player base compared to live Overwatch, and obviously there's no comp, so there's no real strategy on the PTR compared to live Overwatch. So in the next week or two we're going to get some opinions come out on the new D.Va and the new Mercy, to whether they are good or not good, and whether it will change the meta in Overwatch. Now with Mercy, really this isn't a Mercy video, but with Mercy, yes, the changes are fantastic. Even I played Mercy in comp. I don't know whether I've included that video or not, but even I played Mercy in comp, won the game, and that's very rare for me to be playing Mercy in comp. So yeah, the new Mercy changes are fantastic. D.Va changes are controversial, because she is a lot more fun to play. Those micro missiles are fun to be blasting into people, but they are very hard to hit. Very hard to hit, considering they are projectiles and they have a time to reach their target compared to D.Va's primary fire. So it's very hard to use them in conjunction with each other, because you can fire the rockets and fire the primary fire while the rockets are still travelling. But if you're firing at a single target with both fires, either the primary fire or the rockets are going to miss if you're using them both at the same time, because they're different types of fire. So that's a bit of a problem there. But the main issue I have with D.Va at the moment is obviously her defense matrix has been halved in terms of time it can stay up in a single charge. So it was at 4 seconds, it's now at 2 seconds. This reduces D.Va's sustain and survivability. Now, is that good? Now, from a DPS point of view, say you're a McCree or a Soldier 76, then yeah, this is brilliant. This is fantastic. This is a great change, because she can as effectively eat your ults. With the McCree, if she times it perfectly, then yes, she can. If you're a Zarya and D.Va times the defense matrix perfectly when you try to grab, then yes, she can eat it still, but it's going to require a lot of skill or luck to actually cancel out those ultimates now. Also with Soldier 76, she can't cancel Soldier 76's ultimate. She can cancel some of it, but I believe his I've got you at my sights target lock on aimbot thing, that is going to last longer than D.Va's defense matrix, so she can't cancel it, the whole thing out anymore, which is good for those players. It kind of evens the game up, because if you're a Soldier 76 or a McCree or a Zarya, or something with that sort of ultimate that could be eaten by D.Va's defense matrix, then it did kind of feel a bit awful when you got your whole ultimate eaten. It was a bit, oh, god damn it, why? So I can understand that, but I don't know whether they might have nerfed it a bit too much, because I think D.Va gets demeched and killed too easily, and she might be focused a bit too much on damage output rather than protecting her team. Now, if you look at the base of what D.Va is a tank. She is the same class as Reinhardt, Orisa, Winston, Roadhog, and Zarya. She has to have that sustain, because the tank's role is to protect the team. Now, can D.Va protect the team? The old D.Va could play peel D.Va. Use her defense matrix to protect the back supports, i.e. a Zenyatta, an Ana, Mercy, or a Lucio. Can she do that as effectively now? No. And that's why with this new patch, Zenyatta is a big loser. Because Zenyatta was squishy already, and he now doesn't have the defense matrix uptime of what D.Va had before. So yeah, I think Zenyatta is going to drop out the meta quite seriously here. Including, that's without looking at the new Mercy, who is so effective that I think she's going to be in a lot of games. I mean, I think she's been in pretty much every game I've played since the patch came out. Now you kind of expect that because it is a new Mercy, so you've got to expect that. But yeah, I think Zenyatta's a big loser here. But back to D.Va, yes, the damage output is still very good as D.Va. That hasn't changed for me, because very often in my comp matches I'm getting either silver or gold elims damage with objective kills, and sometimes objective time, but that doesn't really matter when it comes to D.Va. But the problem is the deaths. The kill to death ratio obviously has now changed. It's quite obvious. In some games, well, my average deaths for D.Va in a comp game would be about 6. That's gonna go up. Now, I was worried when I was playing it in quick play before I got into the actual comp on the live servers, because I was dying a hell of a lot. There was one game where I had like 12 deaths. Now I didn't know whether I could put it down to the fact that it was quick play and you can come up against quite good players compared to yourself in quick play. So I gave it the benefit of the doubt rather, in comp, and it seems to be okay. It seems to be okay at the moment. I've played about 4 or 5 games in comp with the new D.Va, and I have to say I haven't lost yet. So I can't really complain. It's just there are still some underlying concerns. Now people have got these concerns. I've been looking around, I've looked on Stylosis Unit Lost channel. I left some comments on there about my concerns with D.Va, and I've seen it on the forums as well, and there are a few people flying off the handle about D.Va, the fact that she's so... Some people have a problem with Overwatch at the moment, that the Overwatch developers are looking too much and looking at too much at DPS and changing a lot of characters and adding characters that are DPS. I.e., we've now got Doomfist. He's a DPS character. The argument is that they've turned D.Va into a more DPS based character, a damage outputting character. And the problem with D.Va is she has a ginormous hitbox. And if you're going to be a DPS, you don't really want a massive hitbox because you don't have the sustain that a tank has. Roadhog, Reinhardt, Orisa, and especially D.Va have fairly large hitboxes, but they have the sustain to deal with that, or D.Va did. Does she have that sustain now, considering her defense matrix has been halved? It's up in the air. It depends how you use D.Va. I think you have to change the way you use D.Va slightly, because the way I used to deal with Widows with the fact that I would boost up to a Widow, and I would put up defense matrix, boost up to the Widow, headbutt her with the mech, and then shoot her. And generally that would work. Can't do that now. So the problem with that is if a Widow gets a headshot on you, that's 300 damage on a fully charged headshot. D.Va has 600. 600 combined health and armor. 2 headshots, she's D-Mac. So 3 headshots, well not even 3 headshots, but it's difficult because then that's giving Widow more of a chance. But you can shut down a Widow very effectively with this new D.Va, because the difference with this new D.Va is when you can fly, you can also shoot. So instead of flying towards a Widow and putting up your defense matrix, you are flying towards a Widow, shooting and firing rockets. So you can shut the Widow down quite effectively. The problem I have seriously at the moment is Pharah. Now, I don't know whether this is because I'm not as skilled as some other players, but I think Pharah is too OP at the moment, especially with the new Mercy. Pharmacy is wrecking, especially at the levels I'm at. How do you deal with a Pharmacy? Do you ignore it and kill the rest of their team and then concentrate on it? Or do you try and take the Pharmacy out? With D.Va, she can't shut down Pharah as effectively now, because she doesn't have defense matrix for as long as she had. So that's a nerf to D.Va and a buff to Pharah. Mercy comes in with her new changes. Now, Pharmacy was already powerful, but if you kill Pharah now, before you kill Mercy, Mercy can res her straight away. So that's another buff to Pharah, really. So I think the biggest winner out of these patch changes is definitely Pharah. Without a doubt. That's a problem. And I think that needs to be looked at. Definitely needs to be looked at. If there's anyone who needs a bit of change to them, is Pharah. It doesn't need massive changes, I'm not saying that, but Pharmacy, in my opinion, at the moment is a bit OP. Considering the D.Va changes, considering the Mercy changes, it's very difficult to deal with, and I can see that being used a lot more to try and shut teams down, and it's gonna affect D.Va quite massively. But as a conclusion to this, my thoughts on the new D.Va. I love her. The new D.Va's great. She is so fun to play. But is she not as sustainable as she was if you were, say, defending a point? I think she has a sustainability problem. Is that her problem, or is that other characters' problem? I think you can be effective enough. I don't think a soldier could melt D.Va if she didn't have defense matrix anyway. So I don't think that's a problem. I think the main problem is not D.Va's problem. I think it's the Pharmacy problem, or more the Pharah problem. I think Pharah is very effective at the moment in Overwatch, especially when she's got a Mercy alongside her, and I think these buffs have made her even more powerful, considering that she can't be shut down by a D.Va, and she can be rezzed immediately if she dies by a Mercy. So what you have to do to deal with that Pharmacy is you have to take the Mercy out first. You don't have a choice, because then that takes the res out of the equation. This is nothing against new res, the new res is fine. It's just, you've got to look at a situation and say, right, if there's a Pharmacy combo on your team, you've got to say, we take out the Mercy, then we take out the Pharah. We don't take out the Pharah, because the Mercy then reses the Pharah, so if you kill the Mercy, you then got to kill the Pharah again. So, yeah. My thoughts on the new D.Va is that she's very fun to play, but there are still some underlying problems with sustainability, I think, and does she become an ultimate battery? That's still up in the air. We'll see in the next few weeks. But, for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then!